Hello, and welcome to another edition of True Audio Files. My name's Jim Carter. So, this week's going to be kind of odd. I've been so used to reviewing and doing sound shootouts of box sets and going over what I did for Record Store Day and all that kind of stuff. And all that got some great views on YouTube. I also wanted to also thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I'm up to over 500 now, so I'm excited about that. I've been doing this for a little bit less than a year and happy that I'm able to get up to that spot in that short a period of time, and just hope it keeps growing and growing and growing. And hopefully you will subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be very helpful to me. It makes me feel better about my channel knowing that I've got many subscribers. So this week I'm going to kind of talk about limited edition or special edition versions of albums. It's something that I tend to buy several of quite a few times. And looking at some of the new stuff that I've got this week, these are the ones that just came out this week. I actually have a couple of others that one came out this week, but it's a reissue. Basically special colored versions or special covers or things like that. Like for example, I've got this Guar that just came out this week, which is a special Newberry Comics exclusive color. And then this new Seven Dust, which I think came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. Again, Newberry Comics exclusive special color. And this John Petrucci of Dream Theater. It's a special color edition, but I think it's not advertising, but I'm pretty sure that that's an actual autograph too, which is pretty cool. And this is actually a indie store exclusive color as well, but it's just all these different versions. And what kind of spawned this were two things, actually. One was Ace Frehley has a new album out, which is probably up here somewhere, but basically did a covers album. It's his second album of just full covers, which is very, very good, by the way. You should check it out. There's some good guest stars on there. But, he released, I want to say there's probably about 7 or 8 different versions of it. At least 6 or 7 vinyl versions. There's, a gold one, a blue and white, black and silver, black and blue. I can't even go over all of them. There's a Target one. The Target one had an exclusive cover. It's basically the same cover with some different things added or subtracted from it, but it was still essentially the same cover. But then there's also the new Paul McCartney album, which if you're a Paul McCartney fan, if you haven't heard about it, you've probably been living under a rock. But Paul McCartney 3 is coming out December 11th, and I think we're up to 7 or 8 different versions of that one as well. There's a Newberry Comics exclusive, there's a Target exclusive, there's his website exclusive one that got sold out already because there's I think 333 copies of that one. There's a standard black version. There's probably a Barnes & Noble version would be my guess. But anyways, I know there's at least 7 or 8 different versions of that one. And I could put money on the fact that there are several people out there, probably in the thousands, that have bought every single version of that. Which, to me, I understand why they do it. And for those of you who don't quite get the need or why they do it, it's basically because record sales just are not anywhere near what they used to be. So they're trying to find new ways to generate revenue from record sales. And especially now it makes most sense just because of COVID, the pandemic that's going around. They can't tour, which is where they really make their money nowadays. They don't really make it much on record sales. So they have to try to do it on record sales right now, primarily. So I get it. They're making 7 different versions. They're making deluxe versions. They're making uber deluxe versions. Super ooper duper deluxe versions. But, I think some of it's getting really out of hand. I'd really like to hear your take on this too. But, 2 or 3 different versions, okay, I can understand. But once you start hitting that plateau where Ace Frehley and Paul McCartney are hitting, where you're talking 7, 8, 9, 10 versions of the album. His last record, I think it was Egyptian Station or Egypt Station. I forget the exact name on it, but I think I have 3 different record versions of it. And I think 1 CD version of it, and I don't have anywhere near all of all of the different versions. And the only reason why I bought one of the record versions was because it was on a super duper clearance, and I could justify spending the money I did on it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have bought it, because it was I think it was the deluxe version, which I think it was a 3-record set instead of 2 records. So there were, dozen tracks, or 8 or 10 tracks, something like that, that were additional, that weren't on the original record. So, but yeah, my take is there's definitely some stuff out there that's just out of control. One thing you'll also see a lot of the times, most somewhat major artists, and even not so major artists, I'm seeing it on things like Bandcamp a lot too, where they'll have a run of 200 or 300 pressed of a certain color, and those will sell out. Then they'll throw out 400 or 500 or more, or something to that effect. But you almost always, you can pre-order on the artist website a unique color or unique cover variation of the album before it comes out, and then they'll have an independent record store version of it, and then they'll have a Target version, a Barnes and Noble version, like I've mentioned before, and then they'll have an Amazon version. Well, I've never seen an Amazon version, but you get my. There are Walmart versions, but you get my point. It's not uncommon for relatively popular releases to have 3, 4, 5 different versions of them. So, me personally, I kind of like the idea of having an alternate, especially a color copy of it, or colored version, alternative color version. But once you start hitting 3, 4, 5 different versions of the same record, and all you're doing is changing the color or maybe a slight variation in the cover, I think that's going too far. And I get it. I understand why they do it. It's just kind of frustrating as a consumer, because you especially if you're a big fan, like I'm a big fan of Paul McCartney, I'm a big fan of Ace Frehley, but there's no way I'm gonna spend get 7 or 8 different versions of their record. And actually, now that I think about it, now they're the newest Taylor Swift album, I want to say there were 8 or 10 different variations on that. There was a different cover and different color of the vinyl, where I actually bought one of the unique pressings where it was a different color and different cover. But there's no way I'm gonna spend $200-300 on a record when you've got 8 records that are all the exact same. Not only are they the same album, but the same pressing. The only difference is the color and maybe the cover. It's just too much. So I would love to hear your thoughts on it. That's my take on it. But if you liked what you see here, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you want to make some comments and give your take on these special editions or limited run editions, or the 8 to 10 different versions editions of these things, please let me know your thoughts on that. I'd love to hear your take. If you want to know when my new videos come out, please hit that alert bell. So that is my video for the week. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.